Yes, hello and welcome to episode 345 of the Total Saints podcast, your home for all things Southampton Football Club. We start with a huge thank you to our TSP Patreon community because we couldn't make the show each week without your incredible support. Coming up this week on the podcast, Saints beat Birmingham 3-1 in Tonda Eckert's first championship game as permanent Saints boss. We'll look back over the game and discuss his full-time appointment. And we'll also look ahead to the visit of West Brom on Tuesday night. My name is Martin Stark. Delighted to be here tonight because it means I get out of doing the Christmas tree. So I've got as long as it takes this evening, honestly. Also joining me, Steve Grant, who is the owner of Saints Web. Glen is writer of the blog League One -10. And Alfie House is senior Southampton reporter for the Daily Echo. Welcome along, everybody. Let's start with the manager, shall we? It was announced on Friday night that Tonda Eckert has been appointed Southampton's next permanent head coach, not manager, on a contract until 2027. 9:30 on a Friday night, Alfie, is not the ideal time, is it, to be making an announcement like that? It's a good job you weren't out at the works Christmas party.
Yeah, to be fair, we did have an inkling that it would come on that day anyway, so it was all right. But I think that timing was purely due to a delay in receiving official clearance from the FA. So right. I think from what I'm aware of, the club were quite frustrated that it took as long as it did. But it was nice of them to pull their finger out their ass on a Friday evening. Presumably they'd been watching the World Cup draw and thought, "Fuck this bollocks, let's do some work.
Let's do something interesting, something football related."
Exactly, yeah. So yeah, they got that done over the line. Obviously, I think for Tonda as well, it's probably a bit of a relief to get it done and out of the way before the match and not be worrying about things like that on a Saturday morning when you've obviously got a game to play. But in terms of the decision, I don't think it comes as a massive surprise to anybody. We spoke about it last weekend on the podcast, and I think we didn't really know exactly what would happen at that time, but I think we did say that we probably expect him to get it during the week. And, despite losing to Millwall, I think he'd done enough in those 4 games. The timing wasn't ideal because off the back of a defeat, it's a little bit strange. But they've ended up, winning the game, obviously, which we'll talk about a bit more. And I feel like things are moving in the right direction. So, yeah, I don't think anybody's too surprised by that. And I think it's probably the decision that, although it is a little bit of a gamble, every appointment is, and it's probably one they had to make.
Yeah, 18 months contract, Glen, kind of seems fair for both parties. It's still a bit of a risk, isn't it? So it's not the end of the world. We're not going to get ladled with him for 3 years and having to pay out if it doesn't work out.
Well, and also I don't expect his salary is going to be by the standard of some of the managers around. I very much doubt his salary is going to be sort of like through the roof either. So 18 months, I think that's ideal for Tonda Eckert. He probably appreciates this is a bigger job than I know we've done it a couple of times, but someone of his age and experience would normally get. So he was probably happy with 18 months. I imagine the board were as well, bearing in mind some of the some of the financial mistakes, shall we call them, that have been made in that department over the past couple of years. So no, I'm not surprised at the length of the contract, and it fits in nicely with our. We've got 18 months to get out of this division before the parachute payments end. So they are putting all their eggs in that particular basket. I mean, I think this season, as for targets, he's obviously we want to get promoted. He's obviously got as far as the league position is concerned, he's got to make the playoffs, so he's got to make the top 6. But if we're still in the championship next season will be the crunch, and we might get to sort of November time and be looking again if it's not working out. But at the moment, we've just got to get behind it, and and hopefully he can do the job. I quite like the fact that he stated straight away we're trying to get promoted, and that's it, because there was a school of thought that it might be a kind of holding pattern this season, but especially after the start we had. But no, we're obviously going to go for it, and the game yesterday just reinforced that.
It's a risky appointment, Steve, but really they couldn't not give it to him, I guess.
Yeah, I think you'd struggle to kind of bring somebody else in and them have an awful lot of authority, just because of, 5 wins in 6 now, and it has been such a kind of upturn in the mood. I think that if you then throw a complete random name into the mix, and you bring this guy in, bring someone in from outside, all of a sudden that mood kind of becomes a little bit more uncertain because, okay, yeah, there's the likelihood is that the person they're bringing in would have more experience than Tonda Eckert, but there's no guarantee that anybody from outside would be able to get this group of players playing in the way that that they've been playing the last month or so. So yeah, from that perspective, I think it makes a lot of sense. But I mean, we all know the kind of numbers in terms of his managerial experience, and so from that perspective, it's still a fairly hefty gamble, given our relative resources in this division. But I guess he's earned the opportunity over this month or so. We're obviously not party to what goes on behind the scenes, but presumably the people that are actually making the decision have seen the interactions and stuff on the training ground, and are quite happy with how the sort of interpersonal situations are working out. Certainly, we're seeing a couple of players that have been on the fringes coming back into the fold, and well, some making more impact than others, certainly. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's done now. Let's crack on, and hopefully this run of form can continue for a fair bit longer.
Well, we've got the games coming. Scott in the comments says lots of people say this is a gamble, but wouldn't a bigger gamble be letting a guy go who'd won 4 of his first 5, which is fair enough. A lot of people talking about the results, and
there's a comparison going on at the moment with Celtic in Scotland. They had Martin O'Neill for a few weeks. He won 6 games out of 7 or whatever it was. They got the new guy in today. First game, lost at home. So
careful what you wish for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, I lost at home to the league leaders, though. In fairness, but
still lost at home.
Yeah. No, a good comparison. Well, let us know what you think about it in the comments. We'll get on to the games because the new manager was new head coach was celebrating that 3-1 win against Birmingham in his first full-time game in charge. To be fair, Alfie, it was a joy to watch, wasn't it? It's nice being back home watching us win.
Yeah, 3 home wins in a row now, isn't it? Which is pretty good. Obviously, Finn Azaz. The first 2 goals were actually quite similar from Finn Azaz and Adam Armstrong, in the sense that they picked the ball up in a fairly inconspicuous position on the edge of the area. They've got one defender right in front of them, and I think Finn Azaz cuts onto his left foot and pulls it into the right corner, whereas Adam Armstrong cuts onto his other foot and pulls it into the other corner, beats the man and all this sort of stuff. And the goalkeeper was a bit suspect on the second one. And then obviously the third goal from Adam Armstrong is a tap in, but he's done on the spot from remind me who had the original shot.
Is it Scienza?
Scienza.
Was it Scienza? Yeah, obviously. Again, he's brilliant, isn't he? But I think that we all wanted to see how Saints would respond to losing under Tonda Eckert. Obviously, he'd won all of his previous games. For me, we didn't really get the test that I hoped we would get in that regard, because I thought Birmingham were quite naive in the way they played. They've seen what Millwall had done to Saints in the sort of the low block, the counter attack, all this sort of stuff, like the constant pressure. And I feel like Birmingham just fondled around the pitch, though we're not really doing anything. I mean, Chris Davies spoke in the pre-match about how he's not going to change the way he plays away from home, even though they lose all their away games, because he wants to be, on the front foot and all this sort of stuff. And I just feel that wasn't the way to attack the Saints team. But you can only beat what's in front of you, and it was important to get back to winning ways. Finn Azaz and Adam Armstrong are on fire. Leo Scienza is brilliant. Flynn Downs came back into the team, and that was important. Having him available was really important, just as it was having Leo Scienza. Very good performance all in. Still no clean sheet. It's a good strike from Demarai Gray, to be fair. I mean, I've seen a couple of bits of criticism for Gambazuna that he's maybe a little bit too over to the near post. Yeah. But to be fair, it is also a very good strike. It's just, there's a bit more venom behind it than the couple of efforts Leo Scienza had from a very similar area that was saved. But yeah, overall, can't really complain.
So many players that we could wax lyrical about, Glen, all night. I mean, some of the new signings at the time, I remember, when they came in, we thought maybe they weren't up to scratch and maybe they were going to take a while to find their feet. Turns out, might have been the manager, but at the moment, they're all firing and we could pick any of them to talk about, really, couldn't we? Scienza, Azaz, Fellows, even Armstrong on form.
I mean, Scienza showed what he's all about and how much we missed him last week. The first 2 times he got the ball. So the first time he got the ball, he drifted past 3 players, got chopped down on the edge of the box. And why on earth is he not taking the free kicks? You know, he's got the best touch, the best mastery of a football in the whole squad. And yet we're the brains trust of Armstrong and Manning over the free kick before Armstrong hit it at knee height straight into the wall. So that was minor annoyance. But the second time he picked the ball up, he set up the goal for Azaz. I think the third time he did anything was beating 3 players and teeing that one up that Fellows tried to break the crossbar with. So, you know, the guy was off the scale really, and then he had a major hand in the third goal with his shot being knocked in by Armstrong. But yeah, I mean, every one of the new players. You're talking about Finn Azaz. Obviously, he's keeping his run going. I thought he had a very good all-round game in the first half as well. He was more noticeable out of possession than he has been in some games, winning the ball back and closing people down and helping Tom Fellows out on the right wing. That kind of went a little bit in the second half, which is why Demari Gray started causing us sort of like quite a few problems down that side. But he's a very good player, so you know you can't stop everybody all the time. But yeah, and I thought Adam Armstrong was superb again. I mean, where the hell has this player been? What on earth has changed? I mean, it's not just a case of a manager coming in and telling him how to play, you know. But for some reason, he's suddenly turned into this all-round number 9 who comes short, picks the ball up, gives and goes. I mean, the second goal, that kind of sums up everything. Even though Birmingham didn't get close to him at all, but he comes forward, wins the initial header, flicks it off deliberately to Azaz, takes the return in so much space, but he's still got a defender to beat, and he basically sits him down and then shoots. Yes, the goalie makes a mess of it, but it's, you know, that sort of like one move, that one goal illustrated everything that you want from a centre forward. And long may it continue. And it's just bizarre to me that just with a bit of confidence, he suddenly turned into the player basically that we've needed all season.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Amazing. Steve, do you want to pick up on Finn Azaz or Tom Fellows? That dribble into the Birmingham half was a bit sort of Chris Marsden-esque, wasn't it? There were plenty of highlights.
Yeah, I mean, Fellows I really like in this position from an attacking aspect, and yeah, it's quite clear that Tonda Eckert has just decided, well, at the end of the day, we're winning games with him playing as a right wing back, so okay, we'll accept that defensively he's not going to be all that, but he's perfectly willing to put the effort in. It's just that, okay, defensively, that's not his strong suit. But when he picks the ball up deep and is able to run, and I don't think I've seen a player that we've had for some time who is that good at dribbling solely on one foot, and it's all on his left foot. But he somehow just manages to find these little spaces and little pockets to run into, and can just kind of bulldoze his way through these spaces. And it is extraordinary. The only thing that he certainly needs work on is his finishing. Because yeah, I mean that one where he smashed the crossbar absolutely should have been in the back of the net. And I mean, it reminded me of that one that Azaz had that was basically identical against Middlesbrough a couple of months back. And I mean, hopefully Fellows can go on a sort of run that similar to what Azaz is on at the moment. But he's been, Fellows has been excellent, and it just gives us so much more balance. The fact that we're able to attack properly on both sides of the pitch. We're not kind of channeling everything through Manning and Scienza on the left hand side, which I think with Mads Roersleff on the right, I think he was lacking a little bit of self belief to kind of make those sort of overlapping runs and provide the options out wide. Whereas Fellows obviously has no such sort of confidence issues. But yeah, as I say, just needs to work on his finishing.
Substitutes, I think we probably need to talk about. We said that one of the things is maybe making them a little bit too soon, and they seem to weaken the team right now. Were you surprised that Scienza came off when he did, Alfie? Because he, by far the best player, and I understand that he needed to manage the minutes and stuff, but it kind of the mood drops a bit when he goes off.
Yeah, well, I wasn't surprised purely because don't forget he missed last weekend through illness. I think I asked Tonda that after the game, and he said that he was still feeling it. It was a little bit leggy from having missed those sessions, so it makes sense. And we do still want Jay Robinson to get some minutes. Jay, let's not forget in those first few games was one of the best players, and he is a player who needs to develop, but it's not Jay's fault. There is a massive drop-off from Leo Scienza to him, and that's simply because Leo Scienza is one of the best players in the league. So it's a tough act to follow. I think it's a luxury position to be in when you're able to bring a player like Leo off and still comfortably win the game. Obviously, the other one was Adam Armstrong, obviously, who came off, but Adam Armstrong took a bit of a knock by all accounts, and he had to come off. Although I thought Cameron Archer actually did quite well yesterday. Missed a big sitter, but having not been in the squad at all last weekend, he made a fairly decent impact in the end. It is weird that the second halves under Tonda have been pretty much mostly, a level off. I think that's
complete non-events most of the time.
Yeah, they have. I think that's by design because the fact we've usually been so comfortably ahead. But even yesterday, like with two goals up, we came out from the half-time pretty lethargic, pretty sort of passive, and then as soon as they score, they come straight back alive and they got up the other end and scored the first attack. It felt like, and it's like, well, why don't we do that one more time before it got a little bit hairy, sort of thing. So I think there is something in Tonda. I think he says that he has got one eye on the next game at times, and I think he is trying to manage that. It can be a risky game, but so far it's worked every time for him. So can't argue with it.
And Glen, a word on Flynn Downs back in the side after opening up this week about his struggles with illness. I think we kind of knew that he had a few issues going on, but I don't think anybody quite knew maybe it was as bad as what he said.
No, I mean it's a bit of a lesson, isn't it, not to judge too quickly, I guess, because you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes. It's a difficult one, but that's the nature of the beast. Really, you can only comment on the things that you can see and try and come up with the reasoning behind that, and it's obviously not always correct. So I mean, we know what a good player he is from 2 years ago in the championship, and in this division he was exceptional that season. No, it was good to see him back, and the third goal came directly from him rattling into some guy and winning the ball, and that set Scienza away, and then the goal happened. So he's certainly a good player to have back, and I thought it was interesting the last sort of 15 when you had him and Romeo in there. I thought, well, that wouldn't be nice to play against if you're a member of the opposition. So I mean that's the other substitution that happened. Of course, we giveth with one and taketh away with the other, don't we? So we brought on Romeo and Aribo. And
I wasn't going to mention Aribo because I didn't want to trigger you.
I thought he was lucky not.
I mean, that was a red card, wasn't it? That should have been a red card, right?
Yeah. It's the first time he touched the ball. He dallied on it and then launched in at the guy. It's like, my word.
It seemed as if like he'd kind of realised, I'm in for a bollocking for this kind of dawdling around, basically exactly what he did last week of having no kind of positive impact.
It was an excellent impact, wasn't it? I read an excellent impact.
And then suddenly he's just thought, I'd better rectify this, and then just suddenly charges into the guy. It's like, what on earth are you doing?
Yeah.
Just insane. And it was right under the referee's nose, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know what he thought he saw from the angle he was at, but I mean, it looked high, it looked dangerous, and at such a speed that I was amazed he didn't send him off.
Referee was very reluctant to get his cards out all game. I thought there was there were a couple of fouls on Scienza in the first half where they've obviously deliberately chopped him down to stop him getting away, and no yellow cards there. So I mean, I struggled. I mean, Aribo got one for that challenge. I think maybe one Birmingham player got booked.
Yeah, there wasn't many.
There wasn't many. So,
and the best booking of the game was Tonda, Alfie, which I think just endeared himself to the crowd even more.
Yeah, I mean, it is bizarre, isn't it? You've got to love it. It's quite funny. And he was asked about it after by one of the old Fleet Street hacks, and they said, "Are you embarrassed about it?" And he said, "Well, look, I play football, I've managed football. When a ball comes bouncing towards you, it's instinct. My right foot told me to go for it, And it's like, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, obviously he said he won't do it again, and it's a silly booking. But I think he also, off the record, he'd come in to the press conference saying that he knew that the yellow cards were wiped this week anyway. So he's a bloke who is clearly very intelligent, and he's across every minutiae of detail. He knew that in that split second. But yeah, we'll see.
The other man was that Antonio Conte who did that famously when he was manager of Italy, where he
possibly. Well, let's not forget that Carlos Corberán in the playoff semi-final came onto the pitch, didn't he? Or maybe not in the semi-final. Maybe that was in the March.
No, that was the regular season game.
Yeah, the March game. Came onto the pitch and kicked the ball, and then obviously got sent off for it. So he was inches away from a potential red card on his first permanent game as boss. So that was
they've relaxed.
Doesn't hit anybody
unless
you hit somebody like what's his name, Sheffield United. Wilder didn't he? Didn't he throw a ball in the crowd and hit somebody? And then
but I mean, just on Tonda, but don't forget that we've scored 3 goals yesterday. I tweeted the stat yesterday that in all 6 of the games under his management now, we've scored 2 or more goals. Not since 2011 under Nigel Adkins have they scored 2 or more goals in 6 back-to-back games. So wherever the opposition is, it's a brilliant attacking start from Tonda.
I'm looking forward to the next game. Glenn, I wanted to ask just about talking about Flynn Downs and that midfield and Shea Charles and maybe where he comes back in, because that's going to be quite a selection problem. We were almost crying in RT when he was going to be out for a few days, and actually now a few games, and actually now, well, who does he come in for, and what does that midfield look like?
Well, at the moment, he doesn't come in for anyone because we're winning. We're playing well. If Flynn Downs stays fit, then Shea Charles can get up to speed on the bench, which is kind of how you want it to be. You don't want people guaranteed walking straight back into the team. It's unfortunate when a player gets injured, and he was our best player probably before he got injured. But it's a very different team now. It's a different manager. So he's got to earn his place, and he would expect that. So, you don't want to be throwing people into games before they're 100% fit and saying you have to go in with the thought of playing 90 minutes. So, no, he comes back onto the bench, and Cameron Bragg probably drops down. But that's what you want. That's what you have a big squad for.
There's a lot that's happened in those 6 or 7 games that he's missed. Steve, a word on, as Alfie said earlier, a clean sheet would have been nice, but it kind of feels like defensively we're better and we seem settled, and that is quite easy to predict what the back 3, back 5 is going to be now.
Yeah, I mean, certainly we're consistent on selection, which hopefully allows that back 6 unit really to kind of get a better understanding and better communication. Clean sheets are still hard to come by, but when you're scoring 3 goals, if you're only conceding 1 every game, then you're not too disappointed, I would imagine. I mean, going back to the mention about Nigel Adkins' team back in 2011-12, I mean, so many of those wins were 3-1, both in League One and the Championship. I mean, if you could get yourself into a unassailable lead and kind of allow the last half an hour of a game to peter out when you've got another 3-game week, that's not a bad position to be in. I mean, the players would obviously love to have a clean sheet bonus, but I mean, baby steps. We were shipping multiple goals a game without looking like scoring at the other end not too long ago. So we'll take it while it's there, I think.
And I think, to be fair as well, Steve, like Birmingham had 70% of the ball in that second half. Saints were holding on and hanging on for quite a lot of it. But so in that sense, to only sort of concede 1 and not too many massive chances, I think they did.
Well, there was the open goal miss.
Yeah, that was Kyogo for Ashi, wasn't it?
That was madness.
Who's having an absolute nightmare at the moment.
Yeah, he's been by all accounts, he's been dreadful all season, apart from the opening day where he kind of ran Ipswich ragged,
where everybody was watching.
I mean, that was a terrible miss. But I mean, them getting back to 3-2, if he'd scored that, would have been completely undeserved. But I mean, it does kind of show that just one little moment can change the game, and you kind of think, well, if they score 1 there with us having already made a load of subs.
Yeah.
You're then hanging on a bit, and you kind of think, well, I mean, these are probably going to be able to do enough to get a point out of this game somehow, having barely registered anything for the first kind of hour or so.
That's when
really,
it gets
the
nervy in the
game
stadium as well, doesn't it, Glenn? That's when the nerves
Yeah, it
start
does.
to...
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, we're all battle weary, aren't we?
Yeah.
We've all seen this tape multiple times. But yeah, I mean, him putting that chance over was probably the end of any potential.
Well, the one after that, where the guy had the shot that deflected after Ryan Manning had been a fanny again and tried to win a free kick by falling over. They had another shot which got deflected, and Bazunu kicked that away. And I thought that was interesting because Bazunu got up and gave Manning 2 barrels full, basically.
Did he? I missed that.
Yeah, and that's unusual for him, and whether it's a Ireland teammate thing. But he had a right pop at him, and because he did similar in the first half, straight after we scored the first goal, where he just didn't defend at all. And yeah, that was kind of a general point that I was going to make is that we struggled. You know, we've highlighted Tom Fellows struggled defensively against Damari Gray because he's a very good player. But on the other side as well, the constant, we mention this all the time, and I know it's Steve's bugbear, the constant stream of crosses we allow into our box. When we were sat deep in the second half trying to draw them onto us, which I appreciate is the tactic, I just felt it was a little bit too easy for Birmingham to get to our central defenders or into the wide areas, too easy for them to cross the ball in. And I thought all 3 of our central defenders were excellent in dealing with all the crosses that came into the box, particularly Harwood-Bellis. I thought he got his head to 90% of what came in there, it seemed to be. And fair play to Bazunu. Yeah, a very slight question mark over the goal, but he made a couple of saves, which, I mean, the one where it deflected and he kicks it away, that's a good save by any goalkeeper. And that of course is, what we need him to be doing, saving the ones he shouldn't save. So yeah, it wasn't a perfect performance, but it's comfortable enough. And if we're going to be 2 goals ahead, 3 goals ahead, whatever, I'm perfectly happy for him to take Scienza and Armstrong off for the last half an hour.
Yeah.
I'd rather that than and in Scienza's case in particular, you keep him for a game that's tight when you might want him to play 90 minutes. And so I think it's sensible management all round, because when we get 2 goals up in this division, we really should be able to see it out.
Let's do player of the week, shall we? Azaz won last week with over 50% of the vote. He's probably in with a shout of winning again this week. Who were your top scorers when you were ranking people earlier, Alfie? Who got the 9s? Was it 8s and 9s this week?
I think there was a lot of 8s. There was a lot of 8s in the attack. I think that's pretty much it. I think there's only 9s. Leo Scienza 8, Adam Armstrong 8, Azaz 8, Tom Fellows 8. So they're the key players. I mean, if I was to stick one man forward, it would probably be I'll probably go Leo Scienza on this occasion.
Leo Scienza, first name down on the poll. Glenn?
In keeping with my outperforming what I expect method of choosing someone, I'm going for Gavin Bazunu.
Oh,
because he did what he had to do on a couple of occasions, and that's all I want from a goalkeeper.
Yes. Steve?
Got to be Adam Armstrong, I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, the two decisive goals, and again another all-round performance where he's kind of trying to do a little bit of everything, and at the moment, it's working for him.
All coming off nicely. Anything else on the game before we move on to Tuesday night? Any other observations? Anything else we've missed?
Yeah, the hilarious pushing match at the corner between Jack Stevens and the I can't remember his name, the centre forward from Birmingham,
Marvin Dutch.
Whatever it was. It was hilarious because he wasn't looking at the ball at all. He was just grabbing Jack Stevens by the collar, and Jack Stevens was like throwing him over, getting back up, hitting the deck. It's just hilarious, and you could tell the referee did not have the faintest idea what to do about it. He was just looking at the pair of them. Stevens was basically pointing at his eyes, saying he's not looking at the ball, but it all carried on for a sort of like good couple of minutes before one of the corners. And I just enjoyed the Birmingham lads' commitment to to defending that particular corner. Yeah, but I mean, it was ridiculous, and the referee should have done something about it. But there you go.
I've enjoyed the video of Leo Scienza laying on the floor, giving the crowd a wave as well when he's doing the old draft excluder behind the wall.
Yeah. My first thought, I didn't see that he was a draft excluder. My first thought was when I heard everyone cheering, I thought, Leo, you've got to focus on the game. You can't be responding to those sort of chants. But then, to be fair, having seen he was lying down facing,
and it was just like a little,
it's a bit more excusable. One of the things I asked Tonda about after the game was his backroom team. And, Tonda doesn't give anything away on anything annoyingly, but he did say that I asked him, you're going to bring in any more additional coaching staff? And he said, we will need to consider one or two things. So it sounds like they might bring in maybe somebody to bolster that.
Do you think there's gaps? Have you spotted any gaps?
Well, he said they've been excellent so far, and look, they've got a goalie coach. They've got Ben Reeves and Jeremy Newton who are the assistant coaches, and they've also got Albert, who's an analyst. But he even said himself in the answer that these backroom teams for most managers are massive now, and that it seems like a very small one. So I would have thought there is space in there for at least one more individual. I don't know exactly what that would be.
Yeah, and I guess now with the under-21s as well, maybe there might be a couple more appointments there. Do you think? Because there must be a few vacancies where everyone steps.
Well, I don't actually know, but I can only presume that Adam Lallana will just take that job with Matty Everington, and then there'll be some 18 staff that will then step up, and there'll probably be some 16s then step up, and all this sort of thing. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, we will. Well, December is a busy month, and our next game comes on Tuesday night, home to West Brom. I think it's safe to say it's one we're all looking forward to, not least, Glenn, because their current away form is absolutely appalling. I think the last 8 away games, they've won 1, lost 7, and they've conceded 15 goals. So looking forward to Tuesday night.
A quick consultation of the internet shows that they're not particularly happy with Ryan Mason, the manager. There was lots of I think they lost the weekend. They lost QPR 2-1.
Lost QPR, yeah.
And Mason out was trending, and so we could be putting the final nail in his coffin on Tuesday, and hopefully so. But we're the team that always ends other teams' diabolical runs in the main. So
no, that was the old us. That was the old us.
Well, hopefully, but I mean. It should be a team short of confidence away from home. So, again, another fast start would be appreciated. But I think, Mason made noises about the QPR game saying, we didn't do the basics, we didn't dig in, blah, blah, blah. So it wouldn't surprise me if we face a little bit more of a low block effort on Tuesday, which obviously will be a different challenge to it. But so it'd be interesting to see what happens, whether both teams back off and the ball just stays in the middle, or whatever. But we might have a little bit more possession on Tuesday, so we'll have to find another way rather than just scoring on the break. So that could be a challenge, or he may be completely clueless and decide to try and, do what the Birmingham guy did and take us on in our half, which won't end well for them. So. All I can say about this game really is I know, Tom Fellows is going to score this game. The fact that they're playing us seems to have reopened a lot of old wounds about them letting Fellows go, because obviously they didn't. Their fans anyway feel like they didn't need to, and they feel like they didn't get enough money for him, and all this sort of stuff. So they'll obviously be very wary of him. So be interesting to see how they try and combat the stuff that he's been able to do. So, but I mean, the fact that again, I just have to repeat, the fact that they are struggling so badly away from home and the manager is struggling really means you've got to get a fast start, and then hopefully the rest of the game will look after itself.
But we've been good at fast starts, Steve. That's our thing at the moment, isn't it? And we've had some decent results against them over the last couple of years, aside maybe one here or there, but plenty of confidence to take into Tuesday.
Yeah, we have got a good record against them, but obviously going back sort of 3 or 4 years when we were playing them in the top flight. I mean, there's probably not. I mean, there might be 1, maybe 2 players still left over in the West Brom squad from that era, and I mean it'll be Jack Stevens alone from our squad, I guess. McCarthy as well. There's not a huge amount of sort of internal memory from playing them previously, other than those games 2 seasons ago. And I mean, we won 3 and drew the other one. And I mean, even that draw kind of felt like a win, didn't it? Really, not getting beat in that first leg of the playoff. felt like we'd done more than half the job.
Yeah.
But yeah, they started the season really well. Won 3 of the first 4, including 2. I think they won 3 of their first 4 away as well. So they won at Wrexham, they won at Stoke, surprisingly, when Stoke had a fast start as well. And they won at Norwich, which, I mean, touch wood in terms of our visit there on Saturday, but everyone's winning at Norwich. So not sure how much to read into that particular win back in September. But yeah, they're not having a good time of it at the moment. Their home record is what's kind of keeping them at least kind of sort of vaguely safe from the bottom 3 at the moment. But yeah, you only need that form to start slipping a little bit, and all of a sudden they're in a spot of bother. So yeah,
it is absolutely mental though that they are 16th and they're only 2 points behind us.
Yeah.
You know, so they beat us on Tuesday, they go above us. So it's yeah. So they're really
the league table is weird this season.
Yeah.
We're not out of the woods yet, are we? That's the thing. It's we're kind of making up for that awful start, and it is, like you say, very tight.
It does always make you think, though, Mike, like, where would we be if we hadn't won 5 of the last 6 games? Like, let's say we won a couple of them. Like, would we really be down there in sort of 19? Yeah, well, exactly. So, I mean, yeah, to be fair, they've made the managerial decision at exactly the right time, because it's allowed us to keep pace with the top end of the table when maybe wouldn't otherwise.
But also, I think these 3-week games have really helped to make up for the poor start, haven't they? The games are coming quite thick and fast now, especially this month. And at the moment, St Mary's feels like a completely different place to what it did. And I know that I'm looking forward to this one. I'm even looking forward to the Coventry game. And that might be a little bit optimistic. But your thoughts on Tuesday, Alfie, should be pretty routine?
Well, it would never be routine if they set up in the way that they should. I'm looking forward to seeing how they come, and if they do in a Millwall type way, then it would be a nice challenge for us. And I'm intrigued to see how it goes. And they've got a couple of decent players, to be fair. I mean, Steve mentioned a really good start to the season they had. The key man right at the start of the season was Isaac Price, who is a 22-year-old sort of attacking midfielder, and he scored, in the first sort of 10 games of the season, he scored a couple of goals, set up a couple of, I think he's quite a tall, physical lad who looks really good. They've also got a Norwegian striker who's born in July and who is 24 years old, who has scored, I think it's 6 goals in the last 5 games. So he's obviously a handful. They've got a player there. And then they have Mickey Johnson on the wing, who started the season really well, was getting assists left, right and centre. So they've got a couple of players to look out for. I'm surprised they're going as poorly as they are. And I think that the manager, like you said, Glenn, won't last very long because they've got some assets there who are clearly decent. I'm looking forward to seeing how Tom Fellows plays. He's obviously, if not a childhood baggy, he's obviously there for like 15 years. So it'll be a real connection to him. And it'll be nice to get that first goal and reaffirm that at £8 million, we did pull their pants down. I think that was a very fortunate deal. £8 million for him is brilliant. And, the fact that we had the cash sort of mostly up front to tempt them into that. Very good.
Yeah, it's not great. They're not going to be happy, are they? That's for sure. Have the just final thing, Glenn, if the fixture's been a bit kind of kind to Tonda, you look at some of the fixtures that we've had and the games, am I doing him a disservice? But you've got like West Brom on Tuesday. You're looking at that going, well, that's a good chance to get some more points. And then Norwich away on Saturday. It's been a favourable run.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, Glenn, was it gone?
Go on.
Yeah, it was. No, it doesn't matter. I mean, I haven't really got anything interesting to say about it other than the fixture list is what it is. You play everyone twice. We'll still wouldn't have got these points from these games. I'm 100% sure about that because the way we're playing is chalk and cheese to the way we were playing under Will Still. We're now moaning about letting in the odd goal. We were letting in 3s and 4s. Not 4s. We were letting in 3s, weren't we? And there seemed to be crap goals every single game that we were letting in. And the attacking play is just off the scale different to what it was. So I mean, Tonda might have got these 15 points from out of a possible 18, but there's no way that we would have done that with the previous manager. So I think who you play in this division is largely irrelevant. We beat Leicester. Yeah. I know, regardless, even though they're down near the bottom. No, they're not down near the bottom, are they?
Well, they had a win at the weekend, didn't they? They scored 3 in the first half.
They're below us, but that you know that they're going to be one of the top teams this season. He hasn't beaten a Coventry or a Middlesbrough or even a Stoke, a Hull, those sort of teams that have been sort of like up the top all season. But no, he's beaten what's in front of him, and that's all you can do. The one blip was against Millwall, and that, who are, as we said last week, probably the best side we played, and they. We did that without our best player, and as Alfie said, that's a drop off that we couldn't make up for on that particular day. But we still only lost in the last minute, so it's not as if it was horrendous. So, bring it on.
Yeah, and on that line as well. I mean, look at October, for example, which obviously was the month that put the nail in Will Steel coffin. Drew with Derby County. I mean, if Tonda beat Derby, we'd be going, yeah, that's a tap in. They drew with Swansea at home. If obviously they should have won that game, but we'd be saying, yeah, should win that one. They lost to Blackburn. We shouldn't. Yeah,
that was horrendous.
If we won that game under Tonda, we'd be going, yeah, that's an easy game. So. There are no guarantees here. I mean, December gets really interesting, just for the reasons that Glenn just mentioned. Obviously, playing Coventry on the 20th is going to be really interesting. Going to Birmingham, where they are a much better team, right at the end of the year, is going to be interesting. And then you've got, in the space of 4 days, Millwall again, who've beaten us, and going to Middlesbrough. So, that 2 weeks there is interesting. That's going to be a real test. Obviously, they're the better teams in the division. But yeah, I totally agree with Glenn that you kind of beat what's in front of you, and we've lost games in fashions that we haven't been seeing under Tonda.
Anything else on Tuesday night? We'll do some predictions in just a moment. Where are you watching the game Tuesday, Steve? Are you still? I should say Steve's joining us from Dubai in a hotel room, which is why it looks like we're watching him on an illegal stream. But the Wi-Fi's been holding up all right.
Sticks out, everyone.
Are you all getting together on Tuesday for that one? What's the time difference?
Yes, there'll be another Dubai Saints get together Tuesday for a 1:45 midnight kickoff. Also, bearing in mind I'm flying home Wednesday as well. So Wednesday's going to be a challenge, I think, for me. But looking forward to it.
Dedication. 73 players predicted a win at the weekend in our predictions league. 22 of them went for a correct score, which was, of course, 3-1. Steve, you also called the 3-1 against Birmingham. So I'll let you go first with your prediction for West Brom. What do you reckon?
Yeah, we're on a bit of a roll with these, aren't we? With being able to kind of break the back of a game quite early, especially at home. And I think it's going to be more of the same. I think West Brom, they're in that. If we can open the game up early, as we did yesterday, get one goal, and we'll probably get 2 or 3 again. But they're, as you say, they're not a terrible side by any means. They've, as I say, they started the season well, and they have kept up. They have managed to get the occasional win at the Hawthorns, so it's not like they've completely forgotten how to win games of football. It's just away from home, they're just not getting the results at the moment, and I do expect that to continue, but I do expect them to score as well. So let's repeat the dose: 3-1 again.
Another 3-1. I think you said 3-0, Glenn, which was close, but close. I mean, it could have been. What do you think for Tuesday?
They've got a decent striker whose name I'm probably now going to butcher. Is it Hegebo?
Yeah, he's a Norwegian guy.
Norwegian guy, 6 foot plus, centre forward. He scored against QPR at the weekend. He's their sort of like main attacking threat. I think he's a full international, so he's in the mix with that geezer from Man City, who's quite good. He's going to cause us problems. So the centre backs are going to be busy. That'll be the one that Nathan Wood has to pick a fight with, and the others will have to sweep up behind. A couple of other players who are dangerous. Mikey Johnston on the wing. He's one that can cause problems if you don't get to him early. So I'm a little bit concerned about us in wide areas as we've discussed. So he's one we need to watch. But yeah, I'm hoping that West Brom players don't fancy Ryan Mason, and they see this as a game that they can comfortably lose and get rid of him. So so I'm going to go for 3-0 again, simply because it was close enough last time.
Don't forget to put it in the website this time, just so it
Oh, yeah,
counts.
all right. Okay.
Alfie?
I was going to go for 2-1, but I'm going to join Glen on the gravy train for a clean sheet and go 2-0.
2-0. Nice one. Right. If you want to play along, all you need is your Patreon login, by the way. You'll find the leaderboards and how to play on the website. Just head over to totalsaints.co.uk. Did you want to talk about the FPL as well, Glenn, while we're on?
Well, you can mention it. I just said the same as I said last time. Just go and check it out. I have no idea what's happening this year. Because, as I say, usually I'm
manager of the month over there.
Mid-table media. Definitely manager of the month. I got a very sweary response from Alfie when I got 104 points last week. So yeah, it's good to know that I'm annoying all the right people.
That's what it's all about at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just make sure you're annoying the right people. FA Cup third round draw is on tomorrow night. It's on TNT Sport as well. I think it's about 20-7, isn't it? I think they're doing it before the game. We are ball number 35. I appreciate that by the time you listen to this, we might know who we're facing. But anybody that you'd love to get, Alfie, who's the one that you want to get out? Where would you like to go?
Obviously, the dream tie for me would be Western-super-Mare away for 2 reasons. Number one, I don't think Western-super-Mare have ever got to that stage of the competition. They're obviously a 6th-tier team. And it's an unbelievable achievement. They were also playing another 6th-tier team in the second round, which is a brilliant draw for them. Fair play to them. They've obviously got over the line. And those who know a little bit about me will know that West-super-Mare is the closest association football club, which actually has a ground to my hometown of Birmingham-on-Sea in Somerset. So it would be a local derby for me. If not, I will just take any home draw because we've gone to Everton and Liverpool away too many times. Or Pompey at ball number 30. We could beat them twice in January. That would be fun.
It would be nice to have another go at playing them at home as well, don't you think? After we kind of wasted it the first time, but
I mean, they wouldn't have time to sort a bubble trip for that one.
That's true.
That'd be very interesting to see how they police it, given the obviously restrictive nature of the league games, where they've got months of planning that they could put in. Not gonna be able to do that for a cup game. I wouldn't have thought.
10 a.m. Sunday kickoff. I would have thought.
Yeah,
yeah, like on at Wicker Wreck in Gosport, I'd imagine.
Could be another chance to take a ground off, Steve. Is there anywhere you got your eye on?
Yeah, I mean, kind of in terms of my allegiances, I was disappointed that Sutton United didn't hold on last night against Shrewsbury, but the new meadow would be a new tick for me. So Shrewsbury away would be fine. Not sure who else is in there. Any league sides that grounds I've not been to.
Someone's actually made a good point in the chat, Steve. But I said we've been to Everton too many times in the cup. That is true, we have, but they've got a brand new stadium,
not the new ground.
So actually,
yes,
I will take
Everton. Everton would be a new tick, but then we've got Middlesbrough away, and then potentially another Northern away game in the cup 2 weeks. 2 weeks running.
It's the 10th, isn't it? It's 10th of January that weekend.
Yeah.
I don't know why we're discussing it. We all know the draw is completely bent, like every other draw these days, and we're going to get Liverpool away or Arsenal away because that's all we ever get, or Crystal Palace.
No replays either. Is that right? No replays.
I refuse to get excited about the potential of any game like Western-super-Mare. We will get some Premier League team away from home, and it'll be shit, same as it always is.
well, you never know. We might get Wolves. They're a Premier League side in all but in name only.
But now,
could very definitely beat.
Yeah.
We've got to start talking about them as we get towards the end of the season to see if they can outshit what we did last season.
Well, they're 3 points behind where we were at this stage.
Yeah,
they're on 2 points in December. I mean, it is getting there now. It's getting there. Yeah.
We'll he's going to get sacked as well, isn't he? You know, he's not going to last.
3 managers in one season. Yeah.
They have got Man United Monday night, haven't they? So anything could happen there.
Chance.
Interesting. Anything else before we finish? Have you been booking flights for the World Cup, Steve, after the draw or not?
No, not yet. Playing it by ear at the moment. I'm kind of umming and erring, mostly erring. Just the prices and the accommodation.
Is it crazy? Is it absolutely mental?
It's absolutely mental. I mean, in terms of booking flights and stuff, like a lot of people I know have already booked stuff, but like if you were on it like the minute the schedule came out, or if you took a punt that, well, okay, England are going to be in Dallas rather than Toronto, and just went ahead and booked it, then yeah, you might have got a half decent price. But now you won't straight into Dallas, not a chance. So it's one of those where kind of give it a little bit of time to ease off, and hopefully the prices drop, or alternative routes become kind of feasible options, or maybe just sack it off entirely. I've got very little enthusiasm for this tournament, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't want to
just the whole thing is just vulgar. A lot of it.
I don't want to get myself in a libel case, but like I actually can't believe we've somehow found somebody worse than Sepp Blatter as the head of FIFA.
It was like a throwback to the.
There's no libel there. I mean, that's
no, but there are certain things I could say in that sentence that would have been libelous, and I've deliberately omitted them. But I mean, Gianni, or Johnny, as Donald Trump kept calling him, he is an absolute wanker, isn't he? He would eat himself if he could. I can't believe it. It's just there's nobody around him that's saying, by the way, mate, you look like a proper bellend. But no one said that to him, and that's what I find amazing. Like, I
mean, the fact is, how has he even got to this position? When I mean, in previous, like before he got this gig at FIFA, he was the draw egg at UEFA. Like he was the guy that stood there and basically did what Rio Ferdinand failed to do on Saturday night. But
also, in defence of Rio Ferdinand as well, like the fact we've got 46 teams in the World Cup, and that every draw has about 10 different factors, as he referred to them, for why a team can't go into a certain group, is also a load of rubbish. You know, I mean, we're getting into like old men shouting at clouds territory here, but like it's just a load of codswallop. But when it comes round, I'll be watching every game. So
yeah, and it does mean you can. I've seen the people looking at the kickoff times as well. So we've got a couple of 9 o'clocks to 10 o'clock, haven't we? And then there's
our kickoffs are nice.
They're brilliant. Scotland, they're like 2 a.m. in the morning. I can't wait. I think England games at like 11 p.m. at night. It's gonna be amazing. I can't wait. I think we'll play next at 1 a.m. in the morning.
So we've got 2 9s and a 10, and then Scotland have got a 2 a.m. in the morning, and then there's obviously the joke about they kick off against Brazil at 11 o'clock, 5, 11:22, 12:90, and so it's an old joke, but it's been doing the rounds again this week, which is quite good. Anything else tonight? Anything else this week? All eyes on the FA Cup draw, I guess.
Stuff the FA Cup draw. All eyes on Tuesday night. I couldn't give a toss about the FA Cup, and nor should we this season. We're just not going to care about it, are we? Let's be honest.
Well, hang on, Glenn. It's the 50th anniversary of winning the thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll definitely win it then. I expect.
No, I'm not saying that, but
we've got a yellow away kit. So
it would be nice to go on and maybe a little bit of a marginal run, at least in the 50th year.
Yeah, I guess.
Draw Man United in the third round and beat them 1-0. There we go.
The goal is ever so slightly offside. Right, thank you. You can follow Total Saints Podcast on all the social media platforms. It's at Total Saints Pod. Check out the merch store as well. That's shop.totalsaints.co.uk. As I mentioned right back at the start, you'll also find us on Patreon. That's where you can support the podcast with a monthly contribution. You just visit patreon.com/Total Saints Podcast. Each of the tiers comes with some different perks, including shout outs for patrons in our Francis Benali and our Mick Shannon tiers. So thank you to Dave Melton, Andy Hollis, Anthony Thompson, Gavin Ford, James Harron, Nicky Nicholson, Peter Montalabo, Southampton NY, Drew Dyer, James Kibbe, Red 76 Tax, Michael Blackmer, David Mansell, and Nick Gardner. They're all in our Francis Benali tier. And also thank you to Nick Reed, Dave Ernsberger, Nick Hingston, Phil Cook, Jonathan Cooper, Colt Baker, Anthony Thompson, Matt Hall, Mike Etheridge, Phil Horstrup, Mark Littlewood, James Bobin, John Bevan, Frank Thorpe, John Peacock, and Andy. They're all in our Mick Shannon tier. Thank you as well to Paul Castle Associates and Steamtown Brewery for sponsoring TSP this season. Thank you to Steve, thank you to Glenn, thank you to Alfie, thank you for watching, and we will see you again on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock for our next live